The lights of Madison Square Garden dim, and the crowd hums in anticipation. The air feels electric, alive with the scent of popcorn, sneakers squeaking, and hearts pounding in unison. A single spotlight finds him, standing at midcourt in blue and orange, his head slightly bowed, his hands tracing invisible patterns in the air, the calm before a storm only he knows how to unleash. Then the ball is tipped, and in a heartbeat, Carmelo Anthony transforms, no longer a man, but pure rhythm, a painter armed with a basketball instead of a brush. The sound of the net, swish, echoes like a melody, again and again. Each shot an act of poetry, each bucket a statement of belief. I was born to score. But behind the glimmer of bright lights and roaring arenas lies another story. The story of a boy from Brooklyn, raised in the concrete heartbeat of the city, where dreams were fragile and survival came before fame. It's a story of resilience, of a young man who turned pain into purpose, isolation into identity, and talent into timeless legacy. Carmelo's journey wasn't just about points on a scoreboard. It was about pride, passion, and proving that no matter where you come from, you can create your own light in the darkness. This is the story of Carmelo Anthony, the scorer, the leader, the fighter. A story of gold medals and empty arenas, of cheers that fade, but a legacy that doesn't. From the Baltimore playgrounds to the Olympic podium, from Denver's mountains to New York's skyline, this is not just basketball. It's the art of self-belief, painted across 2 decades of defiance and grace. Carmelo Anthony was born on May 29, 1984, in Brooklyn, New York, a city where dreams are made, but also where they can easily die. His early years were marked by loss. His father passed away when Carmelo was just 2 years old, leaving behind a void that would never fully heal. His mother, Mary Anthony, became the rock of his world, strong, disciplined, protective. She worked long hours, sacrificing her own comfort to give her children a shot at something better. When Carmelo was 8, the family moved to Baltimore, a city both tough and tender. There, amid row houses and blacktop courts, Carmelo's love for basketball was born. The streets were rough, but the game became his escape, a place where pain could turn into poetry. The orange ball became his compass, guiding him away from trouble, giving him purpose when the world around him felt like chaos. Baltimore's playgrounds were brutal. You didn't just play basketball, you survived it. Older kids pushed him around, trying to break his confidence, but Carmelo never flinched. "I'll earn it," he'd whisper to himself after every loss. Day after day he returned, shooting until the sun fell behind the brick skyline. Sweat mixed with hope, and each bounce of the ball was a heartbeat closer to his dream. In high school, his talent began to bloom. First at Towson Catholic, where he became a local star, and then at Oak Hill Academy, a national powerhouse. There, Carmelo's scoring instincts exploded. Coaches called him the smoothest small forward in America. He could score from anywhere. Fadeaways, step-backs, pull-ups, it all looked effortless. But behind that ease was relentless work. Late nights in empty gyms, replaying missed shots in his mind, whispering, "One more, one more." Then came Syracuse University. 1 year, 1 mission. As a freshman, Carmelo Anthony led a team of underdogs to the unthinkable, a national championship in 2003. The image of him cutting down the net, tears glistening in his eyes, became an instant classic. "We did it," he said softly to his mother in the crowd. "We made it." In that moment, the boy from Baltimore had arrived. The NBA came calling. 3rd overall pick in the legendary 2003 draft, behind LeBron James and Darko Milicic, ahead of Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Denver Nuggets took him, and the franchise's fortune changed overnight. The mile-high city had found its star. Carmelo walked into Denver like a storm of confidence and calm. His first season, 21 points per game. Rookie of the Year runner-up, playoffs. Denver hadn't seen postseason basketball in years. But now, with Melo, they had a reason to believe again. His scoring was pure artistry. The jab step, a move so quick and lethal it froze defenders like statues. The smooth jumper, the way he absorbed contact and still finished through it. It was ballet blended with brutality. But Carmelo wasn't just fighting defenders. He was fighting expectations, pressure, and the constant comparisons to LeBron James. Reporters asked him, "Will you ever win like LeBron?" He'd smile slightly, answering, "I'm not trying to be LeBron. I'm trying to be Melo." In 2009, that version of Melo, the best version, nearly conquered the West. The Nuggets stormed to the Western Conference Finals, facing Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. It was a clash of titans. Game after game, Melo matched Kobe shot for shot, fire for fire. At one point, after hitting a clutch three, Melo turned to the Lakers bench shouting, "You can't guard me!" And he was right. They couldn't. Though the Nuggets fell short, something was clear. Carmelo Anthony had arrived as one of the most unstoppable scorers of his era. Yet even as he rose, whispers followed. Selfish player, doesn't play defense, not a leader. Melo heard it all. He took it personally but silently. Instead of arguing, he went back to the court, to the only place that ever made sense. If I can't change their words, he thought, I'll change their memories. In 2011, the next chapter began. New York. The trade sent shockwaves through the league. Carmelo was coming home. Madison Square Garden hadn't roared like that in years. When he walked out for his debut, the city seemed to exhale, a son returning to his roots. That night, under the Garden's lights, Carmelo dropped 27 points and led the Knicks to victory. The fans chanted his name, Melo, 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 as if every syllable carried both love and expectation. For the next few years, he gave New York hope. The 2012-13 season was magic. The Knicks won 54 games. Melo won the scoring title, averaging 28.7 points, and the Garden became electric again. Every jumper, every fadeaway, every roar of the crowd felt like a resurrection. But behind the spotlight, the struggle continued. Injuries piled up, critics grew louder, championships stayed elusive, and in the quiet moments when the lights dimmed and the crowd went home, Melo sat alone, thinking, why does greatness only count if you win it all? For him, it was never about chasing someone else's definition of success. It was about legacy, the kind that lives in those who watched him and dared to dream. The kids in Baltimore, the fans in New York, the players who borrowed his footwork, they were his reflection of greatness. Then came the fall, the trades, the bench rolls, the painful exit from the league in 2019 when no team called. It was the darkest time of his career. The world seemed to move on. Commentators said, he's done. But Carmelo wasn't. Alone in a quiet gym in Los Angeles, he worked in silence. Hours turned to days, days to months, shot after shot. Sweat dripping onto the hardwood. This can't be the end, he whispered to himself. Not like this. And then, redemption. The Portland Trail Blazers called. Melo returned. Older, wiser, humbled, but still deadly. His first game back, he scored in double digits. The fans chanted again. He smiled. I never lost the love, he said. They just forgot the story. Through Portland and later Los Angeles, Carmelo embraced a new role. A mentor, a veteran presence, a living example of resilience. He accepted what many stars couldn't. That legacy isn't just built on wins, but on how you carry yourself through the losses. Off the court, Melo became an advocate for social justice, education, and community. He founded the Carmelo Anthony Foundation, helping underserved communities with scholarships and support programs. He became a voice for hope, a reminder that success without service is empty. And then there were the Olympics, the stage where Carmelo became immortal. 4 appearances, 3 gold medals, 1 bronze, and countless unforgettable moments draped in red, white, and blue. In those games, something clicked. It wasn't about ego, it wasn't about stats, it was about representing something greater than himself. When he became Team USA's all-time leading scorer, he smiled humbly. This is for the culture, he said. For everyone who doubted. When Carmelo finally announced his retirement in 2023, he did it with quiet grace. No farewell tour, no tears, just reflection. My story has always been about more than basketball, he said in his video message. My legacy is my son, my work, my journey. I gave the game everything I had. Today, when fans look back, they remember the beauty of his game. The effortless jumper, the pure confidence, the way he made scoring look like art, but they also remember the man behind it, the father, the mentor, the fighter who refused to be forgotten. Because Carmelo Anthony wasn't just a scorer, he was a symbol. A reminder that you don't have to be the loudest to be great, that your path doesn't need to look like anyone else's, and that even when the world stops cheering, you can still shine. Somewhere, in a quiet gym in Baltimore, a young boy picks up a basketball and mimics that famous jab step. He imagines the crowd, the spotlight, the moment. And just for a second he feels what Carmelo once felt. The power of believing in yourself when no one else does. That's the true legacy of Carmelo Anthony. The art of never losing faith. The courage to keep creating even when the world moves on. The beauty of staying true to your rhythm. Your shot, your heart, your dream. This was the story of Carmelo Anthony. A scorer, a leader, a dreamer who turned the struggle of the streets into the sound of a swish. If his journey inspired you, let his legacy remind you. Greatness isn't given, it's earned, shot by shot, belief by belief. If you felt the fire in this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Behind the Medal, where we dive deep into the untold struggles, triumphs, and heartbeats behind sport's greatest legends. Because behind every medal, there's a story worth remembering.